And welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered Brothers. Here you have your boy Derek. There you have your boy Ford.
What's up?
God damn, Ford, hurry up.
I was like, am I lagging?
And there you have your boy Joe.
Yo,
And we have a special guest with us. It's still International Women's Month, so we had to bring up a woman on our episode. Ashley, you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Hey y'all, my name is Ashley. Y'all know my last name is Love. I've gotten married. My last name is Davis now. I have 4 kids, 2 biological, 2 step kids, but they're all mine. I love my babies. I worked a few years for the Department of Corrections. I left there and pursued the medical field and became a phlebotomist. But I didn't want to stop there. So now I'm in school to get my LPN and I'll be done in December.
That's good.
Right,
That's where I know you from.
Lord have mercy.
And I did a lot of baking. Like I bake a lot and make a lot of treats. And I sold clothes. You know, everybody was on entrepreneur shit over the summer. You know,
definitely.
I was with it.
2020, I've seen a lot of it. Seen a lot of entrepreneurs coming out here, but somebody
I
like
tried
me.
to start the OnlyFans, but that didn't work out.
Shut up.
You stupid. No, I went to school, and it takes a lot of time and dedication. A lot
To do
of time.
OnlyFans?
I'm sorry, what was
Joe,
that?
shut up.
OnlyFans? Wait, what you talking about? You talking about you talking about
I
stuff?
don't think she was talking about OnlyFans.
I was like, do it. I'm saying, it really look like it's real simple.
Somebody say,
just
just turn on the camera and you good to go. You can go live too.
No, I didn't.
I was gonna get on there and just sit and be like,
Oh,
me.
boy.
Look, just looking at the camera like this. It's me.
It's
Somebody
a no
gonna want
for me. No.
Hey, listen, I was gonna get on there and start selling some feet pictures.
Yo, that's the first time I heard OnlyFans, and these females was really making some bread. Like it was some creepy perverted men out here buying them feet pics.
Yo, Dad, was you gonna put polish on them? Was you gonna put polish on them?
See, I don't know about all that.
I was gonna ask for clear coat to mine, make it shine a little bit.
But now going back to you, somebody like me, explain what you say, a phlebotomist? Explain that. Because I really don't know. That's simple. That's simple.
It's people who draw blood. I utilize that to an advantage. COVID has made so many job opportunities in the medical field, and I'll lie to you not. Really? I had an actual job just swabbing people for COVID testing. Didn't have to draw no blood. And I was making like $25 an hour.
Wow.
Pick my own hours and all. Like really put me through school. And then like our company shut down. Like they weren't making the money they wanted to make in Virginia. Like, so they shut the whole state down.
Wow. So
right. So
are you still like, where you at currently? What company you work currently?
So right now I'm not working at all because of school. Okay. I'm full-time.
Gotcha.
And I have 13, 14-hour clinical days. So damn near impossible.
I understand that. Yeah. Just going along with talking to like those like nursing students that do clinicals and stuff like that. I know all about that.
It's dedication.
It definitely is.
You gotta be dedicated. That's something you can't fake it till you make it. You gotta be dedicated for something like that. Like
facts. And did you always want to get into that like that field, or was that something that just came up after like high school? Because most of the times in high school, people don't really know what they want to do until they get to college. But
right,
because that's kind of how I was, honestly. But yeah.
So life really molded me. You know how people say like you'll get humbled in life.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I always wanted to go to school and become a lawyer. That was my dream job, to be a lawyer. And I had my daughter. I was 19 when I had her. So I was pregnant working for the state prior at VCBR and transferred over to DOC, Nottaway. And the best way I can say it is when you work in that field, you get a different taste of how it is. Over the years, it didn't feel good to see, you know, mainly my people walking around. Like hearing some of these guys tell me they're there for some of the craziest shit. Like I had a guy tell me he was in the wrong place, wrong time and got 10 years just because he fit a description. Like, no. Like it's a
like
lot of reform that needs to be done, prison wise, law wise, legally. It's just a lot, and I couldn't see myself as a lawyer taking money from people to fight for them. Like, no, I couldn't do that. So when I actually graduated high school, I had my CNA, and I've had the touch of that field, and I'm just like, I think that's something I should go back to. And then when I got the phlebotomy working in the hospital, I was certain I knew that's something I wanted to do now.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Now you talked about lawyer and reform. I just thought of this question. What is your opinion on Vice President Harris? Because
Okay.
her background is a
Yeah.
prosecutor, and people have their opinions about her.
Right.
Saying she really wasn't, for the
For
Black
us.
community and everything like that. What is your opinion on that?
So every win for a Black woman is a win for all Black women, period.
Facts. I agree.
So to just announce, oh, I hate her because of what she did, that lady went and did a job. Because at the end of the day, what she had as a job, I would not want. I couldn't prosecute people. But at the same time, she spent probably thousands, almost $250,000 going to school for, to do this. She made something of herself. And primarily, the Black community is fuck the police or, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, when it comes to it. But, I look at it like this. Yes, wrong place and wrong time does exist, but it's a lot of crazy stuff where men are selling drugs and doing everything else underneath the sun, and the repercussions behind it. Like each state is different. They just passed a law in the state where you do any kind of crime that leads to pornography, underage minors and stuff like that, they're shooting for life sentences for stuff like that. Sheesh. Compared to other states, they're like, well, we give them 4 years, they get less time than somebody that murdered somebody. And the real scumbags out here are the molesters, all the perverts, all the people out there taking a lot from other children that they never experienced on their own for themselves, expose them to a world they're not ready for. So, I mean, only so much I can say on this podcast that we got time for tonight.
Sure, it's all about you. You can say what you want. Say what you want,
but back to her. I still feel like give her a chance.
Right.
Let her prove herself. She just got there, She just got there. So just sit back and watch her. I mean, it's only so much the vice president do. It's all on the president, for the most part. So
I think for me, I couldn't necessarily judge her. Of course you can always look up somebody's background and see what they did and everything like that. But I never really knew her until she started getting more popularity on in the medias and everything. Once the presidential debates and everything started happening. So I really didn't know her background. But like you say, you got to give everybody a chance, and I can't pass judgment on anybody. People do change. I'm saying? People do change. So as long as it's history for us, I'm saying, for a Black woman to be a vice president, I'm saying? So
it's up there,
period. But facts. But just to get into some of our main topics, of course it's still, well, while we're recording this won't come out during this month, but while we're recording this, it's still International Women's Month. Of course, we had to bring another woman on the episode just so we can get more perspective on a woman, especially a Black woman. So you grew up in Nottoway County, I'm saying, down the street, kind of from Prince Edward. We got some history, Prince Edward, Nottoway, especially when it came to sports.
Everybody's competitive.
Facts. It was always competitive, especially with us coming. We did have a lot. I ain't gonna lie. We did have a lot of talent. Y'all had a lot of talent too, especially when it came to basketball.
Yeah.
But for you, what was it like growing up as a Black woman?
So you don't really realize things. Some people don't. I know for me, I didn't. you don't really realize how you're affected or things around you are affected until you're older and you look back and evaluate things. So like now with all of the racism being exposed that people just always thought that was never there, you never really realized how it was right in your face and little things happen that you never acknowledged because you're a child, you know. But beyond that, it's different for us. Like our parents are expected to expose us, mold us, and show us more compared to any other race, you know. And when something we do is not right, it's always looked at like they're parenting, they won't raise right. But statistically, when you look at it, it's not our parenting, it's us trying to figure out who we are and what we should and shouldn't do. Because growing up, the Black person, you know, it's many black sheep because they're trying to find themselves. And then the women, it's harder for us because daughters are held to a different accountability than the sons. Like the women primarily are told when you turn 18, if you're not going to college, you're getting out my house, period. You're going somewhere. You know, compared to the son always know he can come home any kind of way when he wants, when he needs to, with nurturing arms from mom and dad. So it's different because we have to get on our shit earlier, primarily than our brothers or our other siblings. You get what I'm saying? Like it's different for us. And we don't really realize it until we're in our late teenage years when we start picking up and realizing things. And me personally, I didn't have a shitty childhood. I can't sit here and say I had a shitty childhood. My grandmother raised me and my siblings. So she gave all she could and did all she could for us. Yes. Right. But, you know, every household has their issues and their different things they got to deal with. Cool. But I can't sit here and say I struggled because I didn't. But I did have to figure out things differently when I got of age. Like, for example, going to school, I had to put school off. When it came down to financial aid and stuff like that, my dad got remarried. He didn't want to do any financial aid for me. So I delayed going to school. I started working. I put off going to college so I could just work and make money because I knew that was the obligation. Like I was obligated to make some money. I had to do something out here. I couldn't just sit around.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Gotcha. Joe and Ford, y'all want to kind of like put in your input of like what was it like growing up for y'all? Joe, you can start first.
You're not gonna make me seem like a bad guy on the podcast.
What you mean? How you gonna be a bad guy?
Cause man, I don't want to prove everything she say right. But nah, I mean, all jokes aside, like growing, like that's interesting to hear. I'm the oldest of 4 sisters, but we didn't grow up together. Like we were all pretty much raised by our moms. And then my 2 youngest sisters live with my dad now. And it's interesting that you said that because like I don't know if it was like when they got older or something, but like they really started not going at it with like our parents and stuff like that, but like they were like, you know, it was like a different outlook because I was always like, it is what it is type of kid growing up, but like their outlook on things is completely different. And I didn't realize it until I got older was that like because they were women, because they were girls, like, you know, because they saw the world differently. Like as a guy, we like people think that men's lives are like really carefree, and it is like hands down. Like I don't really know a guy that can't say like that had like a decent childhood, that his life wasn't like a carefree life growing up and stuff like that. And you always hear that stigma about how like it's easier to raise a boy, you know, it's harder to raise a girl and stuff like that. And I always found that interesting because I was like, what makes it, because I don't have kids. I was like, but what makes it harder though? Like, you know, you hear people say like, oh, I couldn't have a daughter because like she's not gonna be talking to me any kind of way. But I was like, I used to talk trash to my parents all the time. Like my mouth was just as reckless. Like, you know, I stayed in trouble. Like I don't think I did. To be honest with you, out of my siblings, I probably was like the worst child, honestly. Like as far as like mouth wise and stuff like that, but
Felt
it's
that.
You still
like,
like that.
but it's like a stigma like around like raising girls, and I just find it interesting because like I'm not gonna lie, like I kind of want my first child to be a daughter. Like I want like my first child to be a daughter, and there's nothing against like if I have a boy, um, but I see so many girls that don't. I ain't gonna say girls. I'll say women. I see so many women that don't have the dad I feel like they needed in their lives.
Facts. And that leaves a lot of loopholes.
Yeah, like my dad wasn't in the household, but he was like present. But it still affected me because, like certain things that I feel like only he could have taught me, I had to learn from like my uncles or like outside sources or even my friends. Um, and I feel like that's even more crucial when it comes to a girl because like the first man that you love is your dad. Like, growing up. And I feel like without that crucial part in your life or that relationship or that aspect, like it can be a lot more damaging than what we think.
Definitely.
But no, I mean, growing up for me was like chill. Like, I mean, I really don't know how to put it. Like, I was, I did anything that I wanted to do.
Right.
Anything that I wanted to do, anything that I want to do, I did. And exactly like you said, like I graduated college, stayed in Norfolk, and I was like, all right, well, I can't make it out there. I came back home, and I've been chilling ever since. And it's just like for you when you were like basically saying like, when you turn 18, you got to get out. I was like, damn, like I wish they would put me out this house. I'll fight everybody on my way to the back door, like, nah. But nah, it's crazy. Like it's definitely definitely, and when I hear my mom talk about like my grandma, like we all know grandparents are different raising like with their grandkids and they are with their kids. But when I hear my mom talk about how my grandmother was, she was like, your grandmother didn't play, and she definitely was harder on us than she is with y'all, et cetera, et cetera. And I was a lot
Facts.
of the fact that they were girls and we was a guy. So
Right.
What about you, Ford? You want to add anything to that?
I ain't gonna lie to you. I was spoiled.
Were you raised by grandma also?
I was raised by grandma, grandpa, and mama. So when I went off to
That
college
sounds
in
right.
Virginia Beach, I didn't even stay a whole year. I said I want to go back home.
Dang.
And I came back home, and after I came back home, that's when I realized I was like, you need to break yourself out there. You got to start doing stuff on your own. You're gonna need to like break away from depending on your parents and your grandparents to do everything for you. And
Right.
so now it's like when I do stuff on my own, my parents, especially my mom, she's like ready to like come with a net to catch me when she think I'm like a fall, but I'm like, okay, I'm 26 now. 26, paying my own bills, about to get married, trying to get my own place. I gotta do it on my own. Ma, I love you, but I gotta do it on my own. So I had to break myself out of being spoiled. It was good while it lasted, it was chill, but I had to realize, in order for me to become a man, I had to start doing things on my own.
Facts. Yeah, I think for me personally, like similar to y'all, it's like I didn't, I wouldn't say I grew up with any struggles, honestly. I think my parents did a good job of providing me with everything they thought I needed in my life, and they showed me love, showed me appreciation, gave me the tools and knowledge that I needed to go on and do what I need to do in the world. It was interesting. interesting that you say is like what, like kind of like what Joe is like. I never thought about how when you said girls, women need to be out the house, by 18. Um, I that was a good feedback because I never really thought about that. And with me, I guess I grew up kind of different. Like I wanted to be out the house. I wanted to be out. Joe. Like I wanted to be out the house. Quickly. So I started doing like at an early teenage years. Like I try to start doing more. For myself. And for a while now, probably 10+ years now, I don't even like asking people for stuff. You know what I'm saying? If I can get stuff, if I if I can get it myself, I'm gonna get it myself. You know what I'm saying? I hate just asking people for stuff. Um,
Right.
but I think men like it's like you said, like men want to get out the house, but I think parents are more like acceptive of them if they are having a good time, like a bad time, going through struggles or whatever. They are more acceptive of us coming back home to get back on our feet and kind of like hit a reset button so we can go back out and go back out on our own and everything like that. But yeah, I never really thought about girls, because you don't see it honestly. And now, when you said it, like I really don't really know a lot of women that's still in the house with living with their parents or whatever at a
But,
Like
home.
right, that's
it's
what I was saying. I
literally
was
like
like,
for us, it's a major embarrassment to parents for the girls to come back home. And I think it comes more from society itself because people literally will ask, where's your daughter? Or how your daughter's doing, or where are they at now? And then when it comes like I've had it seen plenty of times where like people will ask about the sons. Like sons can be incarcerated and won't nothing be talked about. They'll be just like, oh, okay, well, he's probably locked up or he's doing this or he's doing that. And they'll brush the shit off like you just didn't tell them my son is incarcerated. Like,
Mm,
but when it comes down to that standard for the female, it's a have to be doing good standard. And
mm,
I don't know, women have this weight on their shoulders that society itself put on us that is just beyond. I can't even put it in detail because honestly, it's a lot. It's a lot. And people don't
right,
realize it because they can't wear the shoes that we wear. Like
right,
simply, like a woman, like I said when I first got out here, a woman's job, a mother's job, is never done. It's never done. It's never done.
I respect that. Yeah, I'm glad you said it because it actually opened my mind up to that. I didn't think about it before you said that. I guess a follow-up question would be, because you grew up with both parents in the household, correct?
No.
Okay.
So my mom died
Oh, I'm
when
sorry to hear that.
I was 9. My sister, well, I was about to be 10, yeah. My sister, she was 8. She was about to turn 8. So we lost our mom at a very young age. So we still have questions that we pushed in the back of our head because we know we'll never get answers to.
Right.
And, my dad shortly got remarried not long afterwards. And, we never had the best bond because, we had a lot going on with our mom passing. We held a lot in. We never could, we never got a chance to personally deal with,
Right.
because that happens to anybody who will lose a child at a young age.
Right.
So it's insane. Like,
Yeah. Do you think with that and with your dad remarried? I mean, you don't have to answer these questions also. Do you think that had like a big impact on your life and how you were raised and like the person you are now?
definitely, most definitely. Like, I've encountered things a child should never have encountered because the different household thing. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. Everybody knows this. I've never had the best relationship with my stepmom. And over the years, when you get older, my child has pushed a lot of positivity in my life. My oldest daughter, Gianna, and it's mended a lot of relationships when it comes to my dad, my step parents. Like, it does a lot.
Right.
Like, everybody, I was just so angry as a child when I was younger growing up because a lot of stuff didn't sit right with me. Like my dad, he got remarried. He moved on to Richmond. He stayed out there. He still resides there, you know. And my grandmother raised us. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like your mom raised your kids when you were capable of doing so.
Right.
So, you know, who wouldn't have animosity against a parent who's not doing all that they should? Yeah. Or who wouldn't have animosity because their child can't go to school because y'all don't want to file financial aid and fill that stuff out for me?
Right.
So like, I got a question.
Oh, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, my bad, bro. I got a question. Do you think that, and like I said, like Derek said, you don't got to answer it if you don't want to. But do you think that your relationship with your dad dictated like a lot of your feelings towards how you feel now? Like, do you think that if your relationship was better with your dad, do you think your outlook on everything would be different?
Oh yeah, definitely. So I'm gonna give you an example because I know what you're shooting for. Like, how do I think? How would I respond? How do I react or deal with certain things? You know,
especially because you're a parent now.
Right. Okay. So having an absent father, don't get me wrong, I never hated men. Like, I don't have a hate for men because of that. So that just made me open my eyes to how the man thinks, how a man responds, how they process things. And I don't mean him as an individual, but I mean men in whole. Like you said, a lot of men are out here still living lives like, I'm chilling. Like, I'm not obligated. There's a lot of men out here that's still not handling their business when it comes to their kids or their household, their wives, even if they don't have kids. So, you know, it made me realize you can't be vulnerable. I've never been vulnerable. If I ever allow or know that a man did anything to me, I'm fully aware of what was going on, and that was on my part for letting them carry me the way they did. Like, I don't walk around. I got exes that did shitty shit, but you know, everybody fucks up. Everybody does shitty shit, and it is what it is. That's not my problem no more. That's their problem because they got to figure out why they carried me in a certain way or why they did certain things to me. At the end of the day, I don't hold anything against nobody because everybody is different, whether they do or don't do for people. So,
yeah, it just sounds like you carry. Like, not what's the word I'm looking for? Like your outlook, like with that whole you can't be vulnerable. Is it like that now in your marriage though? Like
I mean, I put it like this: my husband, he's the best man I've ever met, and that's as a father figure, as a man in whole. Like, my husband, he's a man first of all. So when it comes down to it, every man, I would like for people to realize mental health really matters. And I want people to realize, like, you need to check on your people. My husband himself, once you learn somebody and figure out who they are, you can truly care for people. Like, I put it like this. People don't value marriage even when they're married. Like, people don't love what they think they love. They love what they think they love. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I love him because I imagined him to be this or her to be this.
Okay.
You have to learn people. Like, you got to learn why they react, why they think this way. So that's how they reacting. Or what causes them think that way, where then they're reacting that way. Once you learn somebody, it's a wrap. But people, you always got to understand, like, people evolve, people change, and you got to learn how to elevate. If you don't elevate with somebody, you're not going to get nowhere. Like, who you met 10 years ago, you've ever heard people be like, they're different now, they ain't the same. Yeah. Or I don't know what happened. Life. Yeah, like, life. Things change people. Like, I am not the same female from 4 years ago. Like, I laugh and say this every day, and I have everybody wrote like, I elevate daily. So if you don't talk to me on the regular, you don't know me from last week.
I feel that.
So
that's real.
And I hate Facebook memories because they show me the old me, and I be like, why you do that?
Facebook memories be killing.
It was reckless.
My Facebook
girl,
memories
I'm glad
be
you grown up,
me.
kid. Like I'm glad you grown up, kid. Like
Facts.
You were just doing a whole lot.
Facts.
You didn't even have to do all that. And I just be like, you know what? But it's the growth for me. When I say stuff like that, you know how people be like, it's the growth for me, and they be joking and stuff. I'm serious when I say stuff like that because it's the truth. It's the truth. Like the way I process things and think about things 3-4 years ago, I wouldn't imagine this would be me now. Like kids, married, happy, like married at 22. Kids. Like no, but I'm grateful for where I am, who I have, and what life has brought me. Honestly,
that's good. I think the question I had to follow up with what you was previously saying, what at like what age or like how did you manage to get over that anger that you had for your father?
Well, when I had my daughter, it was very sentimental. It was sentimental beyond having a daughter. I had my daughter the same day my mom passed. And it happened to be on Mother's Day, the same day she passed. So that was my wake-up call, letting me know, hey, you need to be the best you so she can have the best of everything. So when it comes down to it, you know, I worry and I kept worrying. I'm like, when am I going to do? Like, she needs the best of the best. How can I evolve my life and shape my life where she has it all? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
And that got to, I need to make amends with people that don't even deserve amends.
It's for peace for yourself, though. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, it's that
peace within yourself.
Yeah, it is. Being able to wake up and feel better than you did yesterday because you don't have no tension. I can call a parent that I still have living because shit happening every day.
Facts.
I lie to you not. And some people our age don't even have either one of their parents. So what happened in the past, I'm an adult now and I'm responsible for what goes on. So I have to be accountable for myself and my actions because I have to answer for this stuff. I can't keep putting stuff on, you know, I had this kind of childhood or this happened to me or this would happen to me or that would happen to me. It don't even matter what I went through because now is now and the past is the past and you got to outgrow that. You got to elevate to become something more than what was supposed to have broke you. You get what I'm saying? Like, you have to mend that. You have to mend that. And that's where a lot of people mess up at. Like, they don't hold themselves accountable. They still blame it on what happened 10 years ago as a 15-year-old boy or girl, or, oh, well, this was said to me by such and such and such. Okay, cool. They said that. Cool. That don't make or break you.
Facts.
Hey, Ashley. Hey, it's our first time meeting. You over there talking that talk, child. Hey, I ain't heard a lie yet. I ain't heard a lie yet.
It's the truth for me.
But but not like I completely agree because that's how it was for me. Like I walked around with like that chip on my shoulder because like my dad wasn't where I thought he should be or like doing as much as I thought he should. And then like in college, what helped me was like in college, I finally was like, all right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and just say everything I gotta say. It don't matter how I feel about it and stuff. Like I don't care what the person says. And after that, like, you know, he was receptive and we had a talk. And after that, like we were good. I wouldn't say we were perfect, but I mean it started the healing process.
See.
So yeah. It was a when you talked about that anger, I was like, oh, I feel her on that. Like we are here.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Facts. I think I think with time we probably honestly we probably won't even get to some of the
The other
topics.
topics.
But I did
I didn't
want
even know we
to
was on here this long.
no, it was a good conversation. So I just wanted to carry that on. I think the last thing just on that is just I did want to ask like, you know, you talk about your kids, like what we talked about this before on like a previous episode just about like just legacy and you know what we want to leave behind and everything like that. I wanted to ask you like what example are you trying to be for your kids and you know for your kids.
Every parent wants to give their kid everything they didn't have. I want to let my kids know everything I didn't know. Like material wise, they can't cash out with that. They can't do nothing with that. They can't, I mean, money, yeah, that's the ultimate goal, to be financially stable, where my kids don't have to struggle for a financial aid application or how they gonna get through college or oh shit, women board or this or this or that. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
my ultimate goal is to make sure all my children, even my stepchildren, like they make what they want to make out themselves. I don't care if it's going to college, a trade, I mean, entrepreneur, whatever it is, I want them to be able to say, I can call my mom and dad and it's getting done. And not saying that I'm not holding them accountable or responsible for themselves, but to let them know they don't have to get it out the mud. Like that's something they don't have to experience. And that's another issue in the Black community. Like if you don't have to struggle for it, you're not deserving of it.
Right.
I didn't struggle for it, so I don't deserve it.
Facts.
My parents took care of me. I came from a decent home, so what? Oh. Like people always got mad.
I think some people think you have to either be fully privileged or fully struggle.
Like yeah, you can't have no in between or more or less or either. Like
facts.
Also, I think like we have a stigma as African Americans that come from the concept of struggle. Like we like honestly, I want to say like people personify struggle as the Black person. Like, you know, it goes hand in hand. So and I think for some odd reason, because I mean, just like whatever, like we always the underdog, or we always the one, like you see them come out the mud, or we turn nothing into something. And I think that for some odd reason, we started thinking that's how life's supposed to be. And I was like,
not even. I feel that. Like I don't know what it is. Like what people think. Like,
exactly.
You have to get it out the mud, or you don't supposed to have it.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time that I could not live on the street. I could not be.
Period. Like what? Thugs like the other day, did you see everybody mad because Beyonce's daughter won a Grammy?
Yeah.
Like what?
These people are the richest people, most powerful people in the world, and you're mad because their daughter won a Grammy.
No, but people that's, I don't get it, because my thing is, like I said, like I couldn't be. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I could not be on the street. Thugs don't eat ice cream. Have you ever seen a thug eat ice cream? No. Y'all laughing. Have you ever seen?
You speak. Real talk. I've never seen a thug eat ice cream.
Bro,
I'm dead.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you one thing. But the reason I make that joke is because
I'm gonna have to put that as
the concept of struggle teaches. No, I'm so serious. Like the concept of struggle teaches people not to enjoy life.
Mm-hmm.
It teaches people that you can't. Like I was hearing somebody talk, and they're from Chicago, and they said that they walked around tents for their whole life until somebody, because they moved out of the state, until somebody was like, yo, like you can't, like you don't have to be like that. Like, why are you being weird? And they didn't know because they had walked around tents for so long. And it's like, bro, like, can you imagine? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, you're supposed to be on your P's and Q's everywhere you go. But like, you can't, like, dude was like, he couldn't even laugh or smile because smiling and laughing showed weakness. Yeah. I would get destroyed in the hood.
Because one thing about me, I'm a laugh.
Hey, let me tell you something. hey, I am terrible at being serious. I will be in a meeting at work and trying not to laugh. Don't put me on Zoom.
Facts.
Hey, Hey,
I think
Like,
I think when it comes to that, I think this the last thing I want to say. It's like, you know how people be like, you know, if you like privilege or whatever, people be like, that's a handout for you. You know what I'm saying? If you got it, you got it from your parents, you got it from your grandparents or whatever. But I do think it's different in a black community because we still go through a lot of struggles. Even though,
Yeah.
just how you were saying with like Blue Ivy, why is people come? She's what, 9 or something like that. Why is
she's
people?
already richer than me. She got more than me.
You know what I'm saying? Why is people coming after her? You know
but
what
you
I'm
know
Because her
what's
saying?
crazy
parents
though,
were
Bob?
smart enough to put her hard work in place. Like,
Exactly.
oh,
But they
my
don't do
Bro,
daughter
that.
got
They
on
don't
here
do
and
that with
sing.
other communities.
let me tell you something about the problem I have with the black community as a whole, and that I had to realize that being privileged was not a problem or a stigma. We do not, as a community, we do not set the next generation up for success.
Correct.
In our heads, for some reason, we think that, okay, you got to figure it out on your own. You
Because I
got to
had
do this. You got to do that. And I think that is such BS because you see white people, you see them sitting back and they will give their kids a car. They will buy a
Everything.
second house and give their kids the old house. You will see them and people think
Put them
like
all through college, however many years they want to go to.
and they will sit there and they don't realize like they sitting there they're like, oh, they privileged. Like, bro,
I
they
got
are like, you're not learning from that. They are really setting those kids up to not have to not have to not have to worry about these things. Like, and when you take away the aspect of the struggle, it allows the
Yeah.
person to grow. What were you about to say there? You about to say
No,
something?
I would.
don't do
What
that
I
to
would
yourself.
say, with some people though,
Uh huh.
that's privileged. I would say they are, what's the word for it?
Well,
Oblivious to some things.
yeah.
They
Okay.
are oblivious to
Right.
some things because I forgot who it was. You remember the parent, the famous, I forgot what she was on. I think she was on Friends or something. But her and the husband went to jail for pretty much, like it was something with fraud with putting her child through school, and they only got like 6 months or something like
Are you
that.
talking about the lady from
Talking
Full
about the lady
House?
from Full House.
Full House,
Yeah.
right? And the daughter went on the Red Talk Table, um, Red Table Talk. I say Red Talk Table, Red Table Talk, to pretty much tell her side of the story and everything like that. And pretty much, and she was like, she, of course, eventually she realized that she was privileged, but before then, she was like, "What is everybody mad about?" You know what I'm saying? Because we was like, "Well, your parents is just going to get out of jail. Those they're gonna do that what 6 months or whatever. They're gonna get out of jail and they're gonna still have the opportunities that they had beforehand, even if just like they didn't go to jail at all." For us, you know what I'm saying? That's why I said something like with that side of things, some people is still oblivious to like the struggle that people, go through because they are too privileged, you know what I'm saying? But I think you still have to mold those kids into the people that they do need to be. Even though you are able to provide them with pretty much everything that they need in life, but you still have to, you know, build that character so they
Yeah.
can survive,
Show them.
in the society.
It's basically showing them the value of things.
Right.
Right.
Have you seen? I don't know if y'all seen Kevin Hart's new special. Not new, but it's like his last one. He did it
Yeah.
from his house. Um, it's a part in the special where he talks about his kids staying with their mom and how like they went from literally being first in line in the Disney. Like they'll go to amusement parks and they'll be first in line and they'll ride all the rides in 40 minutes. Versus when they're with their moms, they were like they had to actually wait in line and they were like, it's the analogy I'm making is that when you're used to that when you're used to being privileged, you don't know what it is to struggle
Hmm.
because your norm is privilege. And a lot of people that struggle don't know that they're struggling because that's their norm. So like when you sitting back and when you like that's why I try not to judge the privilege because at the end of the day, like I know that now that I'm an adult, I know that my mom would have did anything that she could have for me. Like she would, and so I would have become oblivious to like a lot of stuff growing up because of the aspect of I never had to experience it. I know kids that went to college and didn't know how to wash clothes. And I was like, how do you not know how to use, like, how do you not know
cold clothes, iron?
Yeah, and I was
Yeah,
like, how
iron everything. I was like, bro, we
I was
in
like,
college. You don't know how to do this?
Exactly. But they like literally they just didn't, like, they weren't taught that. Their norm was their parents did everything for them.
Right.
And it's crazy because then you have those same kids that get out into the real world and they're either going to A, become wealthy enough where they never have to do anything ever again, or B, completely fail at what they do because they have no real world experience.
Yeah.
And then they sitting back looking crazy. And we just like, well, it's not my fault you don't know how to fold your drawers, my God. It's not my problem.
I think the only time we really like have negative words to say about the privilege is when they expect everything to, to have everything.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you can't get everything that that you want in life. It's kind of like
Hey,
what we
my God,
see.
you already rich.
It's kind of like what we like we see with the capital and everything like that. That's privilege.
Oh,
That's
and
privilege. You know what I'm saying?
that's
That's privilege.
that's top notch. That's the 1% privilege. It's
not
different
to
level. It's the different levels. But
not to take
yeah,
it too off topic because we have veered off, but like going on that concept of privilege, like the dude, I don't know if it was a dude wearing that bison buffalo hat.
yeah.
But he went to jail and he was like, "Oh, I don't eat everything."
Okay,
And the jail accommodated
Bro, they
him.
accommodating him
but
with
they got to, because I'm gonna tell you, okay,
They got
DOC, they have to accommodate that because that's his right.
Okay, I
That's his right.
didn't
Like you
see it
ever,
like
I
that.
know he know. Like
Yeah.
they have kosher diet, they have all kind of diets
That
because they
damn
have their
coming
meals
fail.
prepped differently. Like they have meals out here where you can't touch their trays without gloves on. But
Okay.
then turn around and let an inmate on the pod pass out the trays with no gloves on. But if it's prepared with no gloves on or something like that, like some minor inconsideration different from regular trays, they'll turn the whole tray back and they'll send it back. And all it takes is one person to mess up one tray, because if one tray goes into a bin, all them trays got to be remade.
Yep. God damn it.
Because that's their right. That's their right.
That's why I be getting off late, y'all. That's why I be getting off late.
And I do not miss them DOC days. I swear to God, I don't. I don't miss it.
Big ups to y'all because I couldn't work.
I don't know why I went back.
I swear, I'm not gonna lie. When I was struggling, and my homeboy is like, "I'll get you a job at Piedmont." Like, I'll get you a job. I was like,
Nope.
Hey, my God, I'm just gonna hold out.
Okay, hold on now. I ain't gonna knock Piedmont because my folks held it down when they was up in there. So I'm gonna say that my folks, them agents held Piedmont down. But I ain't gonna knock them. I ain't gonna knock them because it's a hard job, and a lot of the mentality there comes from if you don't stick with it, you're not as strong as the rest of us. A lot of them that was there, they've been there for years. They're ready to walk out retired. They done their part. So most jobs, once you get that time in, you elevate to better places where you don't have to put that extra work in. You get what I'm saying?
But yeah, going back, I think the last thing just we can talk about for a short period of time is because we talked a lot about just how we grew up, everything like that. So pretty much with Ashley, do you think being a Black woman is the hardest person to be on this earth?
Yes, definitely. And I'm not saying that just because I'm supposed to say that. I'm gonna put some meaning behind it. So we're already, Black people as a whole, we're statistics. We're rooted to fail by other people. So we as women, we intimidate a lot of people. Like being 15, 16 years old with a nice car, got the right mindset, knowing stuff people didn't know when they were your age will really make people envious of you. And I'm not speaking from my perspective because I've seen plenty of women out here who've hustled and worked hard, and not because nobody ever told them to, because they knew they had to. Or where I can't wear my hair too curly to school because it doesn't look right and it's unprofessional. Or I can't wear my high natural bun to school because my hair's too frizzy. Right. And we have to battle personal battles along with who we are as an individual, things we can't prevent, like the color of our skin, or like I said before, statistic wise, people, I had an instructor last week tell me people think she's married to a black man because she's loud.
Oh,
Wait,
you
instructor
had a
told
white
you that?
instructor.
There you go. And then this same instructor referred to me as a bitch at the end of the day. But because I know I'm a black woman, if I would have responded how I wanted to take it there, I would have been kicked out of the program. I'd had to pay all that money back. I would have left with nothing and time wasted.
Wow.
You know, and then I had an instructor approach me Monday like, oh, we saw your post on social media and you can get in trouble posting for what happened to you. Man, that's discrimination. Y'all can get sued for that. Yeah. Like, and you're coming to me telling me you don't want me to post nothing about what happened to me because it can discourage people from coming here. They shouldn't come here. Like, yeah. Y'all not an ounce of professional. Like, when it comes down to Black women, we have to battle ourselves. We have to battle our fellow Black men. We have to battle everybody. Like, and people don't understand it because they can't wear what we wear. Like,
right.
Yo, let me tell you something. Oh, go there.
No, I was gonna say this is usually a part where I debate, but I totally agree with.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah.
It's
well, y'all look there. Y'all can't debate.
Nah, I can't debate if I agree with it, but I do want to pit. Nah, but I do want to put my.
Give me a second.
I do want to put my input in it. Nah, I totally agree with everything. Just, I guess, just from seeing everything that my mom did growing up, that's pretty much who raised me. My mom and my grandma. Honestly, if I wasn't with my mom, or when my mom and dad was together, I was with my grandma, and like that was the strongest person I ever known on this earth, my grandma. But yeah, like women do go through a lot of stuff. I can agree with that. I just wanted to, when it comes to, I think just Black people in general, because I do agree with everything you said, but I also think I feel like men are like, I don't think they are. I don't think they're up there with women, but they're close. Just because I just feel like with men, we also take a lot of shit from society as well.
And fellow Black women too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of us is a little hard on men.
Women
comes
do.
from some other stuff.
Yeah, women are definitely hard on Black men, but we are definitely criticized by pretty much, like you say, pretty much everyone, and some Black women as well. And sometimes I feel like is no room for error for Black men.
I feel like, and I'm not trying to take away from what you said there, because honestly, I can't debate none that y'all say on this episode. I agree 100%. But I think the difference between the Black man and the Black woman is that we have a choice. The Black man has a complete choice whether or not he decides whether he wants to be something in society or he doesn't. But I feel like the Black woman doesn't have that choice. I feel like they are obligated to do 100% of whatever they got to do to make it, whether that is, it's like, and the reason I say that is because, and I ain't gonna hold you. I'll use the rap game, for example. If we had a female 6ix9ine, Tekashi 6ix9ine, they wouldn't exist. Like you literally got Meg Thee Stallion, which is a phenomenal, Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion's performance at the Grammys and stuff was like criticized because of their performance.
But
I was like,
that's a whole nother episode.
I was
I have to say about that one is it's a whole lineup. Like, they scheduled for these women to get up there and perform that.
Like my thing was my whole thing was with that was like it's no winning for y'all. Like we get like, okay, for instance, they did the choreography, they don't practice for this, they don't song, they don't exercise. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I probably could did 2 dances and would have been out of breath. Like, no, like I wouldn't have been able to
All
do
that.
all that. But
All that.
it's like on social, and this is the problem I have with it, is that on social media, which is a complete plague on our existence, you got black men like you have black men saying something about it, and I'm like, bro, like shut up. Like the difference I see is black women will ride for black men, but black men will bash black women. And
Right.
I just feel like like we don't pay enough attention to like what we say, because I'm gonna be like, I don't know about other, like, you know, races and stuff like that, because I'm black, but what I see is like, you know, a woman goes out here and does what she has to do, everybody will criticize her, everybody will say something. For men, it will be like some will criticize, some will give excuses. It's that mixture that allows us that freedom
To breathe.
on whether we, yeah. But like if you had 100% pressure on you all the time, like Ashley was talking about earlier, it would completely change the narrative of like the conversations that you would have. Like when she was talking about her instructor, I was like, oh fuck that. Like I would just, yeah, I would have through all this would have been thrown. But I think that like, and I feel like and I feel like, you know, it's a stigma with the like we don't talk about it enough as black men, as successful black men. That's the thing that I wanted to point out. I feel like me and you, when we talk about our struggles, it's our struggles of choice, because we want to be successful in what we do. Like, but at the end of the day, me and you decided right now to become drug dealers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just crazy. Like, no, go ahead, bro.
I think the last thing I want to say is kind of like adding on to what you were saying, is like us like pretty much bashing black women. I agree with that, and I was going to say, like, we all have our preferences. Like, you shouldn't be mad at someone else's preference, but you can have that without degrading the other person.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? You can have that without degrading the other person. If you like what you like, cool, promote it, say what you want, but you don't have to mention the other person,
Yeah,
the
like
other
that
race
constant
in
comparison.
it. You know what I'm
Like
saying?
I think that comes from a lot of stuff that was distilled in people with them growing up. And I'm keeping it bad with you. You know what all the Agnews look like? You would look at me and be like, "You kin to the Agnews?" I get that a lot. Because I'm not light skinned.
Light skin, right?
But my sister can say she kin to the Agnews, and people will look, "Oh, I see it. You got long, pretty brown hair. You got light eyes. You got a light skin complexion. You look like them." You know, and a lot of that comes from how other people are taught or was raised around perspectives. You know, and it comes from another form of stereotyping. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, people don't understand. Like, I can't really describe the stupidity behind a lot of this stuff. And you can't really call it stupid because people weren't educated, and those are areas people don't educate themselves in when it comes down to DNA and genetics and stuff like that.
I have, like, there's a girl at ODU that I knew, and when I tell you, she is like borderline albino. I mean, super bright, like blue eyes, brown curly hair, like crazy. And then like one day we was like in class and she was talking about like this, like we were talking about stereotyping and
Probably staring.
yeah, because we was in a criminal justice class and the conversation kind of altered to like where we was going. And she was like, my parents are brown skinned and people don't think that my parents are my parents. Because literally, like, you remember those little DNA joints we used to do with the 4 squares? And you remember how you have those little outliers?
Yeah.
Like, it'll be like, oh, your parents will have like blue eyes in their DNA, but like you wouldn't get it. Like, she literally was every outlier for her parents, and they were like, no, we don't. Like, yeah. And it's crazy. It's crazy. Which is also odd because I was listening to a podcast today that mentioned how this girl was talking about how the color of her skin affected her perception of herself. Because like
people just we don't got time for that topic. we don't got time for that. We don't got time because that brings a lot of favoritism too with siblings and family members and stuff like that. Yeah. Like I've went through that too, where I was the darker sibling, and you know,
We still get side comments here and there from this one and that one about why your kids are darker or this is that. We still hear it, and it comes from our own people because that judgment.
Right.
That judgment. I've literally heard some of my elders say, "Oh, I wouldn't talk to him because that man's too dark for me."
Yo, that's wild.
Yeah.
My mouth is terrible, so I almost say MF.
Fuck it. Fuck it. Say it.
What? And then, at the end of the day, like you were saying, when it comes down to it, everybody's personal preference is their preference. And nobody should get bashed for what they like. Everybody is a different individual. So I definitely support interracial marriage. At least, when it comes down to it, people are true to themselves. It don't come from a whole bunch of, back in the day, people were being raped, kept in the house, all kind of crazy stuff like that. This is who they want to be, and this is what they want to do,
Yeah.
You shut up for you don't say nothing with your light skin self. Yeah, you shut up. Don't you speak. Stay in the corner. This for us brown people right here.
Right.
Go ahead, Joe.
Fact, no, I definitely agree.
We got more than February. Know that. You see what my shirt say? Okay, period.
I know. I see your shirt. I peeped it earlier.
Period.
Shea butter smell good as fuck.
I'm dead.
Oh man, any final thoughts on what we've been discussing so far?
Yeah, see, what happens is don't let that little stimulus check you got, don't let just because you got stimulated devalue the fact that you simulated, my brother. See, that's all I have to say.
You stupid.
I was gonna say it for my no cap, but I was like,
about
nah.
that stimulus is people been struggling, and let's not forget the real concept behind a stimulus. And people need to realize you cannot be knocking people because they owe Peter and trying to pay Paul. You get what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, people.
That ain't the country's old folks saying I done heard.
Old Peter trying to pay Paul.
But no, for real though, people owe so many people that got behind and they struggle. Like this pandemic was a real struggle to people. And if people want to take that money and go buy them something nice or do something nice for themselves, please do, because this pandemic has been really hard on a lot of people's mental health. And if going out to a decent restaurant makes you feel better, do so. If buying your kids stuff you haven't been able to do, buy that.
Hey, let me tell you something, Ashley. You over there talking that talk, girl. Hey, I'm about to
like I'm heavy on mental health because you can't do nothing for your folks when they gone. It ain't all you left with is questions and wonder what you could have did to intercept or what you could have paid attention to that made you realize something not right with my folks.
Yeah.
You don't think about that till later on. At the end of the day, I'm heavy on that. Like I'm heavy on self-care. I'm heavy on mental health. Look out for your people. Check on your people. Cause shit real out here.
Yeah, I'm gonna end the conversation on that. I could say more, but I'm gonna end the conversation on that.
Nah.
And we're gonna move into our last segment of this episode, no cap. And Joe, we're gonna start off with you.
Hey, give me a second, because I wrote this bad boy down.
Come on now.
Hey,
I
kind of messed up. I don't know why. So I had tweeted this. Yesterday, and I was like, "Damn, I shouldn't have tweeted. I should have wrote it down and kept it for my no cap." But it's all good. So I was like, don't measure your success on what you possessed, as far as materialistic and stuff like that. Measure your success on what you've accomplished and who you became, or who you become, or who you're becoming. And the reason I said that, because in my tweet I said the fact that I was measuring success on what possessions I have versus what I have accomplished and who I have become was my first mistake. And I don't know what I was doing. I was on the way to work, bro. And I was just, I was in that thought process. I was thinking, and I was like, bro, like I really come, like y'all were saying earlier, like you're not the same person you was years ago. I've really come a long way as far as like my mindset and everything like that. And at first I thought I was only focused on like, damn, like I ain't really doing as much as I want to do. Like I'm not where I want to be. I don't have this, I don't have that. And then I was like, that's real stupid of me to think because of the simple notion of like, look what I have, like look what I've done. I'm a first generation college student. I'm getting my master's. I'm working like, a job that's sitting back and like I never thought I would be working beforehand. Like the fact that I'm even here to say these things and do these things and accomplish these things, and I got people in my corner now that are looking at me and being like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you," and I'm sitting back like, "Oh, well, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that." It's like don't be so hard on yourself where you take away from the accomplishments and stuff that you have. Like I was like I don't know, like I was, for the first time in a long time, I was very proud of myself. So I was like, I'm gonna share this message with the audience because I'm pretty sure there's somebody out there. I know, like me and Derek, I know Ford too. Duran real laid back. He don't really care about shit. He don't really be caring about shit. But like I know us three, especially, we be very hard on ourselves for like where we think we should be or what we think we should be doing. We should do more. Derek especially. Derek does not rest. I fuss at him all the time, but it's Derek. So I mean, what can I say? But like, like let's like take a minute out your day and just think about who you was a year or two ago and who you are now. I'm pretty sure you mature more than you think. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I get, boy, the old Joe, hey, that nigga was a fool. I don't know where that nigga came. Hey, Dan, let's scratch your head on that one.
I know. For what you look at.
My no cap is, I won't say something else stupid, but my no cap is, just because I carry it well doesn't mean that it's not heavy.
You should have went last, boy.
I see Rand with us in spirit.
Hey,
I see Duran with us in spirit. Here you go.
Yeah. He's the one that sent me that. He told me to say that for him. So.
Oh, he bragged for that. Oh, he whacked for that.
Cause I was gonna say something off the wall, but I'm gonna take that and say, you never know what a person's going through. Just because they walk around with a smile on their face, that don't mean that they going through hell at the house. That don't mean that they're going through a deep depression. Like Ashley was saying, mental health is very important. And with the department that I work in, DOC, like just the other week, one of my workers tried to commit suicide because they was about to transfer him, and he didn't want to go, and he'd been on the compound for over 20-some years. That's all he knew. So, and right before the day before, he was just smiling, happy, and everything. And then I get to work the next morning. They tell me that they found him hanging. So,
damn.
So you never know what somebody's going through. So, in saying that, be careful how you treat people, because some people have a short fuse. Some people it take them a long time to go off, but those ones they got a short fuse. You never know who got the short fuse and who don't. You never want to get your head knocked off.
Nice.
Because within DLCP, it's some people that the staff, they'll talk to these inmates any kind of way, and I'm like, they really determine whether you go home or not. So
because they don't even care.
Exactly, they don't care. Some of them, like I work at a level 3. They got life. They in there for murder. So you think I'm gonna go in there and talk to them in any kind of way? Look at me. I ain't number like 180. They about 6'7", 300 pounds. No. I want to go home.
I feel that.
So, with that being said, just be mindful of how you carry yourself, how you respond to people, how you treat people, because you never know who you come into contact with on a daily basis.
Cool.
But what I was gonna say
sounds stupid. What you was gonna say?
These people, that's coming out the house without their dentures, please stop.
No cat. Literally.
Don't you add on to it. Don't you do it. Don't you add on
I'm
to
leaving
it.
it there.
No cat.
I'm leaving it there.
Oh,
No, you ain't gonna do that. Do that.
Oh shit. All right, Ashley, you got a no cat.
For real, the only thing I really got to say left, honestly, is people just do you. Life goes on. You're gonna do stuff that you shouldn't have. You know, you're gonna you own up to your mistakes. You live and did things you didn't do supposed to have did. You elevate, you grow. No matter what or how good you're doing, people are always gonna remember the bad that you did or how bad you were down. Like people, I hate to say it, but people need that to make themselves feel better about what the hell they got going on, and it's really crazy, honestly. But I just tell everybody, live life.
Yeah,
Live life.
You've been walking for a minute, child. Are you even there wherever you at? Like you gotta walk back.
No, I'm outside. I'm outside.
Yeah, I noticed. I was like, this child been walking this whole time. Look, just stay on the Zoom until you make it home.
I'm so weak. No. I'm outside.
You stupid, Joe. But nah,
He's been calling you dumb this whole damn week, yo.
Joe know how I feel about him. But
I'm outside. Actually.
But nah, my no cap is better days always come. I know that for sure. The struggle will not last forever. God doesn't put us through anything that He doesn't think we can handle. God already has given us the tools as well as the knowledge. God already has given us the tools as well as the knowledge to overcome that adversity. Only thing we have to do is continue to have a positive mental attitude and keep pushing. Because the success you're going to reap will be tremendous at the end of that road. So that's my no cap. And with that, we come to the conclusion of this episode of Unfiltered Brothers. Truly appreciate Ashley for taking time out of her night to hop on this episode with us. We definitely appreciate you for coming on and just speaking your truth, speaking your story. We definitely appreciate that. And with that, make sure y'all follow us on social medias: Facebook, Unfiltered Brothers; Twitter, Unfiltered Bros; Instagram, Unfiltered Brothers Podcast. Make sure y'all subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, and you can listen to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, as well as SoundCloud. And with that, y'all stay blessed, y'all stay safe, and we out here.